My name's Paul Huber, and my daughter Olivia Huber is in the Navy, and she is an aviation electronics person and based in Norfolk, Virginia. For many years the Navy's had a program called a Tiger Cruise, and it's where a Navy personnel sailor gets to bring a parent or brother or sister out on a cruise out on their Navy ship at sea for 2, 3, 4 days, somewheres in that range. And I was selected to go with my daughter Olivia from Jacksonville, Florida up to Norfolk, Virginia on the very last deployment and return cruise of the USS Enterprise, CVN number 65. That stands for Carrier Vehicle Nuclear. And the Enterprise was the very first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. It has 8 nuclear reactors on it and is the fastest ship in the Navy still, and it goes back to 1960. And I was able to get on board with my daughter, who was already on board, but she took me on board on Friday, November 2nd, and we went out into the Atlantic, sailed up the East Coast to Norfolk, Virginia, arriving Sunday, November 4th. And it's very historic, actually, that I was on the very last cruise of the Enterprise as my daughter was. And when it pulled into Norfolk, there was something like 25,000 people on the pier. And Olivia has a little Navy history in our family. My dad was in the Navy, served on a minesweeper under Ara Parsegian, the old former Notre Dame football coach. And my uncle was in the Navy as a fire chief at a little airfield outside of San Diego, which he ended up naming Miramar. And Miramar, as most people know, became the Top Gun school for the Navy. And while he was there, my Uncle Donald Huber, the fire chief at that base, created something called light water. And light water is a white foam that they spray on jet crashes, and they use it now at Indy 500 crashes and car racing and all kinds of uses for this foam called AFFF. And while he was at Miramar, he developed this foam, which has saved countless lives of military personnel and others by smothering the fire very rapidly. And he did that in conjunction with a chemist at 3M, who was a friend of his. And this was many years ago, and this AFFF, it's kind of significant because it's all over Navy ships, including the Carrier Enterprise. And the captain of the ship, when I told him this, was very impressed that his sailor, Olivia Huber, was on board, who was the great niece of the man that invented AFFF and named the base Miramar out in San Diego. So it was a great cruise, very historic, and I'm very lucky to have been on it. Thank you, Al.